So I want to show you Harry Enton. He's going to be talking about the Republican primary in Texas. So he's going to show you some of the numbers or looking at the betting odds. And then we'll go to the map. And then we'll talk about why Texas could be the state that gives Democrats control of the Senate. So let's go ahead and take a look. Here we go.
This is one of the reasons why that I think a lot of Democrats say, hey, we can really play in Texas. Look at this chance to be Texas GOP Senate nominee. Look at this. According to the Kalshi prediction market, the favorite is actually Ken Paxton. Actually, Ken Paxton at 54%, John Cornyn at 37%, Wesley Hunt, another candidate, back here at 11%. If Ken Paxton is the Republican nominee, hello, I think Democrats really, really, really want to play there. And I will note, when we look towards the general election, look at the odds here. We see a month ago, it was 80% that the GOP won the Texas Senate race. Now, still favorites, but those odds are becoming lower for the GOP. Democrats have a real shot in Texas. At this point, Republicans favored, but Democrats may really have a real play.
And of course, they were talking about the Kalshi odds, so basically the betting line. And so you see Paxton is doing well. A lot of people are putting their money on Paxton to win in the primary and go against the Democrat. Now, Democrats want this because they think that Paxton has more baggage than a Cornyn. And Democrats think Paxton aligns better with President Trump. And so when it comes to President Trump's record, they can really say, well, this person, Paxton supports President Trump, even though Cornyn does support President Trump as well. But Paxton's just closer aligned with the president. And so they can look at and say, look, the economy is this way. Look, the scandals that Paxton was involved in the past. All of that stuff is going to come back. So if Paxton does win the primary, guess what? Whether it's Crockett or whether it's Tallarico, they're going to have a better chance of winning than if it was Cornyn. And we've seen this in the polling. When you look at the matchup between Crockett and Cornyn or Tallarico and Cornyn, those races are very close, and Cornyn does have the lead in some of those polls. But when you show the polling for Paxton against Crockett or Paxton against Tallarico, those races flip, or it's like a neck and neck race. And so I can see the Democratic Party in Texas happy about these numbers, and they do want to run against Paxton if they could possibly do that. So before we continue, if you guys are liking this information, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with your family and friends. You can also subscribe to me on Substack and follow me on Instagram. Links are in the description. Okay, let's go ahead and continue.
Months ahead of the primary election, Senator John Cornyn and Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton are already jockeying for the position as the candidate more closely aligned with President Trump.
Now, the president has not tipped his hand as to who he will endorse for the Senate seat, but today Cornyn took a prominent role examining a hot topic for the president's supporters, then President Biden's handling of the border. Fox 4's Sean Rabb in studio with more. Sean.
Yeah, let's talk about the upcoming race. This is going to be the toughest electoral challenge of Senator John Cornyn's political career. He knows that. And now he's trying to raise his conservative image with the GOP base, issuing public declarations and holding hearings on topics that matter to MAGA voters, like the one held today.
We're here today to remind the public of the real tragedy of President Biden's open border policies, the hundreds of victims of criminal illegal aliens, crimes that could have been avoided if the laws on the books had simply been enforced.
Texas Senator John Cornyn chairing the subcommittee hearing on what is called Biden's border betrayal. But could one of the most successful politicians in Texas history, with a voting record that puts him as the second most conservative Republican in the Senate, be knocked out in the midterm primary by opponent Attorney General Ken Paxton?
Right now, you would consider Paxton the favorite, but Cornyn is a longtime effective insider within the Republican Party in Washington.
Since Paxton's gotten in the race, SMU political science professor Cal Jilson says Cornyn's been trying to show his deep red stripes, even after more than 20 years in the Senate.
The world changes, the Republican Party changes, and if he doesn't change with it from sort of Bush business friendly to more Trump social conservative MAGA, he'll be left behind.
While the midterm elections are months away, Senator Cornyn has almost 4 times more money in his campaign coffers than Paxton's political purse. But the Attorney General continues to have a double-digit lead in the polls over the incumbent Cornyn.
What remains outstanding is a Trump endorsement, and a Trump endorsement might well carry either of these two candidates across the finish line. So they're both lusting after that endorsement.
And Gilson says there is one other voice in Texas that might matter with GOP primary voters.
Angela Paxton still has a vote in this race.
Whether she will support her husband, whom she has started divorce proceedings from, remain a silent partner, or openly back Cornyn in his reelection bid, in a Republican primary that will see these two political fighters face each other.
These are two different kinds of fighters. I think Paxton is going to be swinging for the fences, whereas John Cornyn is more of a puncher. He's going to win it on rounds rather than on knockout, if he wins it at all.
Clearly, it is a fight that could have a lot at stake for the Republican Party, and Cornyn, with maybe political baggage of being in D.C. for decades, Paxton with maybe personal baggage with his wife filing for divorce. Still months away, but we'll see what matters most to Republican primary voters in Texas.
Now, what does it mean if Democrats can win in Texas? If they can win in Texas in November, this is what we could potentially see. Now, I've already broken this down. You have the toss-up. So you have Democrats and independents at 45, Republicans at 50. Then you have 5 toss-ups. Okay, we have Alaska as a toss-up, Georgia, North Carolina, Maine, and Michigan. Okay, those are the toss-ups. So if Democrats need to run the table, okay? I'm not saying it's easy. It's going to be easy for them. But if they're able to run the table, if we see a blue wave, if we see, and right now, looking at the House, we're thinking that we're going to see a huge shift there, and Democrats will take back control of the House. Now, if some of that bleeds over into the Senate, then we could see a mini blue wave, or we could even see a blue wave in the Senate as well. But a blue wave in the Senate would look something like this. If Democrats are able to hold Georgia, they were able to hold Michigan, they were able to win in North Carolina, win in Maine, and win in Alaska. Now we're looking at a 50-50 Senate, but Democrats need to win one more seat. Why? Because that tie goes to the vice president, who's a Republican, and so Republicans would still have control even if we had a 50-50 Senate. And so that other state could be Texas. That's why Texas is important, because if Texas flips, now we're looking at Democrats at 51 and Republicans at 49. Democrats have control of the Senate. And so that's why when we're looking at some of these different states like Texas, like Ohio, like Iowa, they're focused on those states because this could shift the power. That one state, Texas, could shift the power over to Democrats. So I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you think that Texas is on the table? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more. And remember, stay informed, stay engaged, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. So that's all we have for this video. Make sure if you guys want to send me an email, you can do that, david@thetecshow.com. Like the video, subscribe for more, and check out these videos over here for some more great content. Talk to you later. Bye.